Hey, what is going on YouTube? Ron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And guys, with the recent announcement that the Salem is going to be nerfed at Tier 8, we're not sure when, we're not sure how bad. I found this footage of me playing the Donskoi a couple months ago, and I just forgot how good this ship is. When I get back from this little trip here in Austin, I'm going to have to take this puppy out for a spin. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy a disgusting display of how good the Russian cruisers can be. The Donskoi, as you guys know, is the light version of the Russian cruisers, with the Petro being the heavy. And the Russian cruisers are just honestly good at everything. Now, we know that the heavy, of course, the Petro hits a lot harder than the Donskoi, with that Stellinium 220 millimeter AP. But the Donskoi, what it lacks for in gun caliber, it makes up for in DPM, armor, and torpedoes. And we put all of those on display for this game. Right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and take this defensive position out here on the flank. We get a little bit lucky that there are no destroyers in this game, but because we knew that, we were able to get in a little bit closer. And what you're going to want to do in this situation is, as you can see, we're angling out here, right? Why? Because those rune shells fly right by, as well as the Yamato if he were to shoot at us. Now, this is kind of just, playing the game long enough, looking at other players' turrets, seeing if they're going to shoot at you, but that Yamato does. So what do? We hit full stop. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and switch to the broadside rune, and as a result, we actually do get pinned twice by that Yamato, but not as bad as obviously sailing broadside. In the meantime, though, we ended up missing a shot on that rune. But just pay attention to shots like that, because anything, 15, 16 kilometers and in, the AP will still absolutely smack. This rune is yet to learn his lesson, and we really got to teach it to him. And that is when we notice Mr. Kiting Colbert. You gotta love the Kiting Colbert player, as, again, staying out-angled like this is going to prevent you from getting smashed, just as we talked about. You guys gotta love a Colbert player with a full rudder build, just kiting at 40 knots, right? What a great addition to the game. Wargaming. But also something you guys should note is we did pop, I believe, one fire or maybe two on that Yamato, and we did not light a third. Why? Because a double fire is going to burn just as well. Your chance of getting a triple is less, and a lot of players are now running fight fire with fire, so it's not necessarily something advisable to light that third fire. But it looks like we have stopped taking the damage on him, so we're going to go ahead and shoot with the HE. Now, this is, like I said, this replay was a couple months ago, so we don't have the epic mod, but I can't wait when I get back to try the ship with an epic mod once again. Also, just a little piece of advice for that Yamato player: don't commit that early, especially without a destroyer able to spot for you. As you can see, our friendly cruiser there was able to get into that notch in the islands, and we went out here providing spots for him. So over-aggression in battleships is how you get spammed, and I just laugh every time I hear the 12 IQ point battleship players say that HE spam is ruining the game. Yes, it is frustrating when you get spammed, especially by somebody like this Colbert player who's in the back of the map. But if that is happening to you every single game, I have some news for you. You suck. So I hate to be the one to break it to you, but if you are constantly getting spammed, I highly suggest you reevaluate your battleship strategy. Another strategy I would recommend avoiding is sailing broadside in your Minotaur. We got 3 citadels by quickly switching to the AP and realizing that we can lob. Now, this is a little bit of an auto-aim, and again, this Mino overcommits without real team support, and yeah, good night, thanks for playing. So, as you guys can clearly see, overcommitting early is definitely not something you want to do, but also kiting at 18 kilometers, probably not helping your team as much as you could be. These games without destroyers are played a little bit differently, obviously, with the threat of a destroyer kind of, lingering as we get a beautiful citadel at 18 kilometers. I love nothing more than smacking those Colbert players who are just zooming around. Why was that ship buffed, man? I don't know. But here we actually have a pretty big threat, but the good news is we have a few battleships and cruisers behind us to help us support. Now, the ships at Bravo did actually abandon us, so if this Pommern were to turn in, this could be a pretty significant threat to us. He has pretty good secondaries. He can actually overmatch our nose. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we don't have a 27mm bow, so he can overmatch our nose. On top of that, he does have torpedoes, so it'd basically just be a draw. But the good news is he is more focused on the ships to the right, leaving us to his secondaries and his torpedoes. But we did end up getting a fire on him, so we're going to use our torpedo tracker. We didn't launch them on the line. Why? Because that line would have put it into the little island there. So we went ahead and just filled that gap. We love filling holes. Sorry, that's probably going to get me demonetized. As the Des Moines also pops up right in front of us, we were turning to the right to focus on that Colbert. Not sure why this Des Moines popped around this island broadside as we get a nice, beautiful citadel at angle. We are right on the edge of that auto bounce angle. As you can see, we actually got 3 bounces and 1 citadel, and we actually repeated that shot there. So pretty disgusting AP angles on these Russian cruisers. You can see that Des Moines is not completely broadside, but he is still getting citadeled as we connect 1 torpedo, and that's going to be a permanent flood on that Pommern. So like we talked about in other videos, I don't know if I've dropped that one yet, but I'm doing a bunch of videos today, managing your engagements in your cruisers, especially Russian cruisers, and especially cruisers with torpedoes, right? Trying to put those torpedoes in available gaps. Here I popped a radar kind of just to keep the Des Moines spotted, but also to see if that Colbert came back. Probably a waste of a radar, but seeing as there's no destroyers, we're not necessarily worried about it. There's the kill on that Pommern. Never put out 1 fire, Mr. Pommern. That is a huge misplay, so thank you for the free damage and the free kill there. Here, I know that we are putting ourselves in potentially a risky position, but you can see that our team is doing a decent job, so I want the glory kill, and this Des Moines decides he wants to ram. He could have absolutely abused my broadside when I open it up for torpedoes. We're going to launch these a touch short, sort of. He's going to try and ram us, but we get the torps off, and boom. Good night, thanks for playing. We appreciate the HP. I'm not exactly sure what he was doing, trying to charge and trying to ram. I think he did shoot us once, getting a nice chunk off of our broadside, but if he would have just kept DPMing us as we open up for torpedoes, he might have killed us. We probably would have got the torps off anyway, but he could have potentially killed us. So, like I was mentioning, if I haven't dropped my cruiser video yet, I will be dropping that soon, so make sure you guys pay attention for that. But managing your engagements in your cruiser, we have smashed 165,000 damage, 16 defend ribbons, and the game is half over. You will notice we have yet to also receive a high caliber, mainly because there were no destroyers, so the damage is going to be a lot higher. But you can only imagine if this would have been a little bit more of a balanced game, how much damage we actually could have gotten. Now here's a little bit of a tricky situation I was in. Thank goodness that these guys were watching. These 2 red battleships were more focused on the ships on the north side of sea. That allowed us to get this cap here, as well as, kind of sit behind these islands for a moment until either this Colbert came back or we were detected over this tiny little island here. Detection is based off of the top of your ship, so sometimes taller ships such as battleships and bigger cruisers are more detected or detected over those smaller islands as opposed to destroyers and smaller cruisers. I actually switched to the AP because I knew this Colbert was going to do this. We actually aimed this shot kind of high. Probably not high enough, and you will see why in just a moment here. This lad has a full rudder build. I don't understand that play style. It almost never works unless you're going against really bad, teammates. But hey, that is the lure of Legends. But this Yamato shoots. We angled against him, sort of angling against the Colbert, ready to shoot him if necessary. But he's just out there spamming aimlessly. We get a permanent, or a fire on that Yamato rather, as we unfortunately missed the torps. We put those torps in a beautiful section, and there we actually clear the double fire. I think those are both permanent as we tick the high caliber there. So all the way up to 185. On top of the high caliber, we actually get the wither as well, and a 3rd kill as the Colbert just pops up. Could have potentially got a 4th. Missed our 4th, and we actually missed our 5th. But just what a disgusting display. 192k a few torp hits, a bunch of defense for a 3766 total score. An absolute beast of a ship the Donskoi is. One of my favorites at the tier. Obviously, the Petro and the Buffalo, but I feel like I switch between the Donskoi and others. But yeah, if you guys are looking to take her out for a spin, make sure you are utilizing all of the tools available in your tool belt, and you can have some smashing games like that. Also, make sure you pay the enemies. Those paid actors come in handy. But GG's. I'll see you guys shortly here on stream in a couple days. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. I'm out. Peace.